was a hard stopper at the end, but Clay Holmes got the job done on that double play to end the ball game. But how about Juan Soto? I mean, he is just must-see TV every time he steps into the box.
He's amazing, but how many games do you see where you're out hit 14-5 and you find a way to win the game? And the reason why the Yankees won this game, they took advantage of some mistakes for the Rays defensively in that 7th inning, and they say you can never give a good team extra outs. The Yankees took advantage of those 2 errors in the 7th, the Volpe hit, and then obviously the big swing of the bat of Juan Soto. 5 home runs and 20 RBIs already. What a start to his Yankee career.
And you added all up, the 19 hits between both teams tonight. They were putting the bat on the ball. So let's get to our highlights presented by your local Ford stores to show you exactly what we mean. Bottom of the first, Yanks had a runner on second, and Giancarlo Stanton at the plate. He's going to get the bat on the ball, hit a long fly ball to left, but Palacios there to make the catch and end that half of the inning. On to the bottom of the second, Yanks with a runner on first and 2 outs. Jose Trevino going to lift one out to left, but Palacios again is there. So again, making solid contact, not pushing anything across. Bottom of the second, here's Judge.
Yeah, runner at second, waiting for Judge to heat up after that big hit he had in Toronto. This is just going to fall a little bit short on that track right before the track in right field. Still scoreless.
Another chance for the Yanks, bottom 6, runner on first. Hard hit by Rizzuto, but off the glove of Diaz, back to Diaz. Rays leading it 1-0 at that point as we get to our turning points of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And Dave, this is where the errors started to show up for the Rays.
This is when things started to turn. In the bottom of the 7th, Verdugo hits a ground ball to Curtis Mead, and it gets by him. A pretty simple play right here, but Verdugo reaches on the error. We're going to take another look at that right here. This ball just skirts underneath his glove, allowing Verdugo to get to first base. And you start to wonder, is this the door? We're going to get a chance right here. And then, same inning, Cabrera hits a grounder to Yandy Diaz. He doesn't get in front of it. The camera reaches on an error, and Verdugo scores to tie it up at 1.
All right, so a couple errors, runners at the corners later in the inning. Anthony Volpe fly ball, drops it into center. The RBI single scores Trevino. Cabrera moves to third. Yanks take the lead 2-1, but the biggest blow was yet to come.
Yeah, a 1-0 pitch from Davinsky here. And Juan Soto gets a mistake at 92 miles an hour right down the middle, and there was never a doubt if that was going to be a fair or foul. A 3-run shot that blows this game wide open, although things got a little bit interesting after that 3-run home run.
Yeah, sure did. Top of the 8th, the Rays are rallying. Nobody out. Runners at second and third, and Isaac Paredes facing Ian Hamilton, who has been so good this season. But in this outing, the Rays get into him. Little fly ball, shallow right center. Both runners come in to score. Suddenly, it is a 5-3 Yankees lead, and things are getting a little tight. Top of the 9th, Rays trying to do some damage again, this time against Holmes, and he's facing the 9-hitter, Rortvedt, his former teammate. Nobody on, nobody out. And Rortvedt, who came into this game batting .320 on the season, going to get a base hit to left. Now with that runner on first, Yandy Diaz is going to hit a hard ground ball through the right side. It's a base hit. Diaz moving Rortvedt to second. So first and second. And Dave, once again, here's where things got interesting.
Yeah, the Rays are threatening here, but Arozarena ends up hitting a fly ball to shallow center field. Judge charges in and lays out. It looked like Gleyber Torres probably could have caught this one pretty easily. Judge, as he dives, he ends up rolling right over the baseball. There's a lot of confusion. Is it infield fly rule? Is it a double play right here? Ultimately, it was a ball that was a base hit that drops. Not a base hit, but end up getting the guy at third.
And you take one more look, and Rortvedt, the umpire, by the way, Flash, calls out first and then safe.
Yeah, out is a call originally. See Rortvedt go back to second base and then safe, and then he's going to be out by a mile. I think that's where Kevin Cash had his argument with the call. Was he out? Was he safe? You just cost my base runner by saying that he was out. He went all the way back to the bag, and that was the difference.
So still a chance with 1 out, runners at first and second here.
1 pitch, you can get a double play ground ball. Usually it's going to be a ground ball, but this is a line drive double play. Anthony Volpe to Gleyber Torres, and the Yankees take a deep breath, and they take the first game of the series against the Rays.
5-3 is the final. Juan Soto, that big 3-run home run. Flash already said the numbers for him on the season, and what an impact he had in this game, both with the bat and on a couple nice defensive plays. Moments after the game, Meredith Marakovitz caught up with Soto on the field.
Juan, you guys capital capitalized on some Rays mistakes, and the offense got rolling there in the 7th inning. Take me through your approach against Davinsky there.
I just tried to get something in the strike zone. I know he was the guy in a little bit of trouble to throw the ball for a strike, and I just tried to be patient, wait for my pitch, and thanks God I got him.
You definitely did get it 450 feet to right. Your teammates love it. This crowd loved it. Can you describe the feeling you had when you knew you had connected like that?
I mean, it's great. It's great. Every time you get the lead, I mean, with that single ball we got, get everybody excited, and then get the homer to get some more insurance runs. I mean, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to get this crowd going and the whole team going.
You also made a great defensive play there in that 3rd inning, tracking down a Richie Palacios ball. Just how difficult was that?
I mean, we know he's a lefty. He was swinging the ball that well. I mean, I just try to stay with it and try to get as close as I can and try to make a catch.
5 home runs, 20 RBI to start off your Yankee career. Could you have asked for a better start to your career in pinstripes?
I can't be selfish. I mean, I'm more than happy and more than excited to see the team winning games. That's all that matters for me right now. They just keep winning games. At the start we have, being in first place, I think that's all that matters.
Juan, appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
Send it back to you.
Meredith, thank you. To Flash's point, his last 10 games, Soto's hitting .361, 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Add in the 10 walks. Flash, add in that graphic we showed that says he's reached base 44 times in 20 games so far. The OBP is off the charts, and just the extended at-bats catch your attention.
Yeah, when he goes 0 for 3 in the beginning of this game, you're thinking, just give this guy an opportunity to have a big moment, because he is built for this stage in New York at Yankee Stadium, and he comes through again with the one big swing of the bat. I watch his at-bats, Dave, and I cringe as an old retired catcher, because he doesn't expand out of the strike zone. You have to come to him, and when you do, he makes you pay.
Yeah, the discipline that he shows up there is uncanny, because especially for a young player, he's only 24 years old, but he's got a few years under his belt. But his understanding of his strike zone is as good as anyone I have ever seen. And he, again, we talked about this in the pregame, he does not take a pitch off. You can't just try to sneak one by him.
And you saw Davinsky at 92 down the middle. That's not going to get it done. But I marveled at the reaction of the Yankee dugout after that home run, because Dave and I have seen guys who get pitches to hit, and they're a little bit quicker, they're a little bit around, and they hook it foul, right? And they miss their opportunity. The Yankee dugout right away knew that that ball was going to be straight, because they've watched this guy through, what, 3 weeks of the season take a path to the baseball that's direct, and it keeps it true.
His hands, his ability to keep his hands inside the baseball. The first time I'd ever heard someone talk about that was Donnie Mattingly. You keep your hands inside, and even though it's an inside pitch, you can get the barrel of the bat to the baseball, and it won't have that big hook. It'll stay true. And this one stayed true for about, what, 450 feet?
You know, even in this day and age of pitch clocks, by the way, have you ever seen a guy dictate an at-bat as much as he does? And I say that because pitchers should be the ones doing that. They can deliver the ball supposedly whenever they want. They step on the rubber. They're ready to go. It doesn't feel that way with Soto.
No, it feels like every time he walks up to the plate, he is in charge, and he's going to dictate the pace. And I watched him on this road trip. He will actually stand out of the batter's box and be watching the pitch clock when he knows he has to go in. And he's saying, I'm going to take my time, then I'm going to go in the box and look at you when you're going to have to deliver the pitch. So everything that he does, from calling timeouts to the conversations he has with the umpires to the way he looks out at a pitcher and shakes his head, no, no, no. I mean, I'm going to go back to it. He's built for New York. He's built for this stage.
We talked about Reggie Jackson, right? He is that big star, that superstar that shows up. But going to the action around the plate, when he steps into the batter's box, it's like, I own this real estate. This is my real estate. Even the way he grooms it with his feet after he takes a pitch, it's like, this is my area, and I'm in control.
Yeah, when we got to the middle of the 7th inning, it was still a 1-0 game. Flash on the cut-in said, let's see what they do against the bullpen. Yep. Well, Dave told us on the pregame that the bullpen for the Rays has struggled this year. You look at highest bullpen ERAs, it's the Rays right now with a 5.81. and they got to him once again here tonight.
Yeah, I will look at that ERA and say it's not going to end up that way because the Tampa Bay Rays, they develop pitching, they develop bullpen arms, so it's going to get better. But right now, it's not, and it's the worst in Major League Baseball. And you kind of thought at the end of this game with the battle of bullpens, the Yankees would have a big advantage. Now, Hamilton struggled in this outing. We haven't seen that this year, and Clay Holmes really had to battle. But you just felt like if the Yankees could get into that bullpen for Tampa Bay, eventually they would break it open. And I'm going to go back to it. A few gifts from the Rays defensively, which we're not used to seeing this Rays team. Usually fundamentally sound, great pitching, great bullpen arms, not early this year.
You know, if you go into the box scores tomorrow and you look at just the error column, typically you can decide and almost kind of guess, okay, this team won and this team lost based on the number of errors. So, yeah, the Rays did not play in clean baseball, and when you play and you make 2 errors like that they did in the 7th, typically it's going to get you.
Guys, but 2 huge errors in the 7th inning opened the door for a 5-run inning. Time to hear from Aaron Boone about this win in the Manager's Report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, it was a rough go for 6 innings there as far as the offense was concerned, but what did you think of the way your team came together, took advantage of the extra outs there in that 7th inning?
Yeah, got a couple defensive miscues that we're able to take advantage of. Grinded. It was tough tonight, tough night, cold, windy. Clark gave us a great opportunity there, holding them down, and then Dennis Santana coming in and really bridging the gap to the back there, keeping it at bay, and then obviously a big swing by Juan. So good job of just nose down, keep on playing. It's not always going to be perfect, and we took advantage of some breaks.
You mentioned Juan, huge home run, 3-run shot. You look at his start to his Yankee career, 5 homers, 20 RBI. You know the talent that he had coming in, but to see it on a daily basis, what has that been like?
It's been impressive. What he's doing between the lines is great, but love what he's doing behind the scenes and in the room and just connecting with our team and, the work and the pride he puts into all facets of the game. That's been the coolest thing to witness, but watching him go out there and perform between the lines has been special.
And with Volpe, he got off to such a hot start. He's had a little bit of a slowdown here lately, but to break the 0 for 13 with that single there in the 7th inning, what was different about his approach, or what did he tweak to come through there?
Yeah, he almost got a great push bunt on he got the sack for it, but that open right side at bat before, I thought it was a great time for it, opportunity. And then, they bringing the infield in, he's able to get a piece of it enough to get it out over the infielders' heads, and just the big at bat there, obviously, to set up Juan.
Susan, what was the argument there at the end when the trap ball or the infield fly rule? What was the?
Yeah, so we had thought maybe he could call the infield fly, but he went up and called out because he thought Judge caught the ball, I believe. So we kind of saw it as he was going to call the infield fly. That was why we were telling Oswaldo to tag him. It's not a force play on that situation. So I was checking for 2 outs there possibly, but I think they got it right. I'm assuming Cash was arguing that you called them out. We didn't know,
To the left, Chris.
Now that you get to see him every day, is Juan an even better hitter than you imagine?
It's April, and I imagined he was pretty great. And I've seen him in small snippets when we've had a chance to play him where he's been pretty great. He's off to a historic start to his career. So, I kind of went in with that context. He's been, the best thing for me is I obviously knew we were getting an amazing player, but I've really enjoyed the person and the teammate.
Gary.
When he's throwing the bat down and beating his chest, screaming towards the dugout, what's your reaction in that moment, and what's that do for the rest of the dugout?
Yeah, I actually didn't see that because I was admiring where that ball was going. That's of the 5 homers, that's the first one that I think he's really, really stepped on. Like where's this going to land? So I was paying attention to that, so I didn't see all that.
Rand.
What are you thinking when Clay's going through that? He's had some tough moments, but he always seems to get out of it. Sometimes closers have seasons like that. What are your thoughts on what he's done so far?
Yeah, I think he's been great. He's throwing the ball really well. He's got, he can get you out a couple ways. The sliders become a better and better pitch for him. He's always one pitch away because he's going to eventually put you on the ground. And I just think he's a more well-rounded, polished pitcher as we continue to go. So, he's off to a great start for us.
And with Soto, the rep when he came in defensively, mediocre at best, and he seems to have played a lot better than that so far. He made another pretty good catch tonight.
Yeah, he's made some really good plays, had a couple of big assists, obviously, out there as well. Again, that's part of the whole, what I've been excited about is the package that I've seen. This guy cares about not just hitting. This guy cares about being really good at all the other little things in the game, base running, defense. Like, he works on that stuff. He works on, a lot of little things behind the scenes. He takes care of his body. Like, he's all invested as a baseball player, and that's what's been impressive to witness.
Meredith.
Overall, what did you think of Clark tonight?
I thought Clark was good, man. I mean, he made some two-strike mistakes, but I thought his stuff was really good, especially on a cold night, and he was pounding the strike zone. I mean, he was, I think, 2-1 strikes. Now, he made some two-strike mistakes. I think, maybe the first 5 hits or so against him were with 2 strikes or 0-2 and just couldn't put a guy away. But he had swing and miss. What he end up with 6 or 7 strikeouts. How many? 7. So the only thing bugaboo for him tonight was some mistakes and some 2-strike counts. But otherwise, I thought he threw the ball really well.
Works into the 6th inning. Do you feel like this is a step forward? Like he's right there and giving you some more length?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is he did have a lot of bigger counts, so his pitch count was high for being as in control of the game he was. But they were putting runners out there because they were getting those 2-strike hits some, so it made his night a little bit longer than maybe his line was. But overall, I thought he was really good.
Okay, thank you.
Some good conversation there about Juan Soto and what he did not only tonight but the entire season, and Aaron Boone dug into that a little bit.
Yeah, he talked about Juan not only on the field. We can all see what he's done on the field, but we can't see how he is in the clubhouse with his teammates. But I can tell you, with being with the team for 6 games on the road, Juan Soto looks as comfortable as any player that I have ever seen being either traded to the New York Yankees or signing a big free agent deal with the New York Yankees. It just seems like, okay, I got traded to a new team. He gets along with all his teammates and his coaches, and the play out on the field, I think, is a result of how comfortable he is right now.
Yeah, you never know what that dynamic is going to be when a new player joins a club, from one star to the next. Or is he going to get accepted, and is he going to be received in a way where he feels comfortable? I think all the signs, hearing Boone talk about the behind the scenes, we're seeing guys like Oswaldo really changing his approach, I think, because he's watching Juan Soto day in and day out, and you learn from the great players. If you're a younger player, I want to sit next to that great player and see if I can better my game by trying to emulate him in some way.
I know you covered that last game, did the entire series in Toronto. The at-bat that he had, and we detailed it on the pregame, where he walked in the 9th and then Judge was able to come up with a big base hit. Judge was struggling at that point. He could have said to himself, I need to be the man right here. He took the walk. I mean, that speaks volumes of not only where he's at in terms of his at-bats that you've broken down, but also trusting that teammate no matter where he's at to have the big hit.
Yeah, I mentioned on the pregame show, every time I watch Juan Soto go to the plate, it's personal to him, right? He takes it so seriously that he's not going to expand out of the strike zone because of the situation. He's going to keep a calm heart rate, and if you make a mistake like he did in Toronto with the home run in the 8th inning and the walk in the 9th inning, inning, he'll very easily say, I got guys behind me who are going to pick me up. If you throw a 1-0 fastball right down the middle at 92 miles an hour tonight, that's not going to get it done.
He has a slow heartbeat. I love that, the way you said that, because in those type of situations, you have to keep the line moving, as you said in the pregame show, right? I need to do my job, get the ball to, hand the baton to the guy behind me, because Aaron Judge, by the way, can get it done as he did a couple of days ago.
It is a speed limit enforcement of 100 kilometers ahead of about 4. It is a speed limit enforcement of 100 kilometers ahead of about 200 meters.